Hey guys, now I'm going to share my sermon notes taken from the preaching of Pastor Khan Santos during last Sunday or the second Sunday of this month. The topic for the second Sunday service was about looking for man after God's own heart. So if you have been a Christian for quite some time, this may be a common line that you have heard or that you have read from the book or from the preachings, a man after God's own heart. And the first Bible character that comes into our mind is David. And so the text for that preaching was from 1 Samuel 13 verse 14. It says here, "The Lord has sought out a man after his own heart, and the Lord has commanded him to be prince over his people." Acts 13:22. It says here, "And when he had removed him, he raised up David to be their king, of whom he testified and said, I have found in David the son of Jesse a man after my heart, who will do all my will." And so, first thing that I wrote here is God is looking for a man whom he can work with. The title or the first slide, it's actually the common thing that you can see on social media if someone is looking for something, a thing, the service, or anything that they are searching. So LF stands for looking for, and that's the whole vibe of the title of this preaching. So God is looking for a man whom he can work with. So it may be you, it may be me, or I believe it is all of us, wherever God has planted us, wherever God has called us, so that He can work with you and fulfill His purpose and plan for your life and for the people around you. Psalm 14:2, it says here, God is constantly looking for a man who understands Him. It says here, the Lord looks down from heaven on the children of man to see if there are any who understand, who seek after God. Isn't that amazing? He's the God of all the universe, and He's looking for a man who understands His heart. And that's why He's looking for a man after His own heart. The illustration that Pastor Khan showed to the whole congregation is a hose. Kabalo mo ng garden hose ng green nga taas. So that was what was on the picture. One of the many purpose of the hose is that a faucet or a source of water. Basically, the source of water, like a faucet, is a steady thing. So you cannot move it from one place to another. And when you put a hose on it, its purpose is to extend the water that is flowing from that faucet to wherever you bring the hose. So that's why God is looking for a hose. The basic analogy that Pastor Khan showed to us about the hose can imply many things. Literally, you can see that the water can be brought from the faucet through the hose to the plants, or to quell a fire, or to fill a container. So there's a lot of things that may speak to you when you see the image of a hose. So God is looking for a host, someone who can extend his arm. God needs our yes, our will. So we are like the host, and if we yield to his will, we connect to the source, and then what flows from the source flows through the host to wherever the host is situated, whether it is for watering plants, whether it's for quenching or quelling a fire, whether it is for filling an empty container, whether it is for cleansing, for washing. So basically, it speaks of how God uses our lives wherever we are. When generosity becomes an obligation, gratitude disappears. It speaks about generosity because I believe this is what God is impressing through the heart of Pastor Khan, that the church must know that He is a generous God. And basically, that's a picture of water flowing from the source, from the faucet. It implies supply. It implies His generosity. It implies His overflowing source of everything. And that's why when you are connected to the source, the flow of whatever it is that God brings out through you as a host is unending, because He's God, He's unlimited. And gratitude isn't pure anymore if you're thinking that the thing that you're giving comes from you. Everything that we have comes from God. So we cannot forget that everything we give away, everything that we share, everything that we offer does not come from our own, it comes from God. So the next note that I have here is, in the light of God's grace, He will not continue to give it if it will cause you to sin. If there is an issue of generosity in your life, in light of God's grace, He will not continue to give if it will only lead you to destruction. And that's grace protecting you and allowing you to understand that God cannot lead you to sin, cannot allow His generosity to lead you to sin. So Acts 20:35, it says here, it is more blessed to give than to receive. If you are greedy, your host is muddy. Kung ikaw hakugan, ang imuhang host lapukon, because dili na free flowing ang water inside. Because God wants us to be a free flowing channel of His grace, His mercy, His blessing, His generosity. If you become greedy, meaning na pidok na ang flow, stop na ang flow, your hose is muddy. That's a perfect description, because Pastor Khan could have used na napilo imong hose, which is also a good description. But on this specific description, muddy, it means there is dirt inside that hose. There is something inside. There's an issue of the heart. There's an issue inside. Nganong nalapok na sa sulod. Maybe your hose, you did not properly took care of your hose. Maybe you have allowed dirt to come in, and that's why it became muddy. So see, I know God is speaking to you right now about this word palang. Generosity cures your greed. When you understand God, the generosity that flows out from you will cure your greed. Whatever it is, like your greed for money, your greed for your time, when God is the one who gives you 24 hours, when you're so greedy that you take all of the 24 hours for yourself and not for the purposes of God, everything, anything that you do with the Lord, for the Lord, will have definitely an eternal impact. And there's a specific Bible character that Pastor Khan cited in Luke 7:37 to 38. This, and in Matthew 26:13, Pastor Khan said, this is the most generous woman. The woman was a prostitute, and that woman has an expensive perfume. It's worth a year of salary. And when she saw Jesus, she just gave it all away. That's generosity. When we see Jesus in the beauty of who he is, I mean, we could just give our life for him. So God is looking for generous hearts. And the last note that I would like to share to you here is, it says here, generous people know the heart of God. I'm not just speaking here of money or wealth, but generosity as a whole, your time, your effort, your talent, your skills, your heart, your mind, everything that you can give. If you are a generous person, you know the heart of God, because you know that our God is a generous God. So that's it. That's the essence of my notes for from the preaching of Pastor Khan during our second Sunday service. So God bless, guys. I hope you watch the whole preaching. It's on our Facebook page, and I hope you will have your own sermon notes too, because as God is speaking to me, He will speak to you, and maybe you will have a lot more to receive from Him. God bless everyone.